Hey guys, Dan the Man here with Ralston Acres. You know, it is mid to late spring, and we've already had our trees planted about maybe 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. We'd like to get ours in a little early, but what now for a Christmas tree farmer? We got the plants in the ground. What's next? Let's talk about that. Okay, we're going to tackle the question. We've got the plants in the ground. Now, what's next? Uh, for the beginning Christmas tree farmer, a lot to learn, a lot to learn. Trust me, I've been there. And for the person who, or the farmer who has a lot of experience, well, you know the drill. So this video is going to probably be a little more old hat to you. But we got the trees in the ground. We planted them. These were 1 gallon, trade gallon plants that we have taken from liners and gotten them up there about maybe 18 inches to 2 feet high. And we have augured a hole in the ground, and we have staked the trees and tied them trees to the stake. Now, some folks don't stake trees, and that's fine. Uh, Around here, we're on sort of a hillside, and in the springtime, we get a lot of wind. And so, you know, I don't like the trees doing this right here a lot. I want them to get their roots established. So we do stake them. And we use bamboo stakes. Some people use metal stakes, some fiberglass stakes. It's all personal preference. But and we tie the stakes to the bamboo. Now, one of the things that I had to experiment with is, what do you tie it with? Some people tie it with these plastic ribbon. Some tie it with cloth. Some tie it with what I call paper twist ties. And either one's fine as long as it don't eat into the tree. I think you're in good shape. But as you see, we've gotten a few of these here. We planted about 900 this year, um, just because we have a lot of trees in the ground that'll be ready in 4 years. So we want to sort of hold these back maybe a little bit, not a lot, but it we sort of have to play our numbers. You know, if you're planting Christmas trees, uh, you want a crop coming every year. And you know your numbers after about 4 or 5 years. You know about what kind of numbers you're selling, and so you want to plant accordingly. We sold last year, I think it was somewhere around 1,200 field trees, and so with that done, I'm like, okay, what do I have coming up? Well, I've got more trees ready to be harvested, and so I just looked at the stages of trees that I have coming up in the next 4 years, and I thought, well, I might ought to cut back just a little bit on my planting, not a lot, because you can catch yourself in a bad situation if you're not careful. But at any rate, that's the way the trees are in the ground. Now, what do we do with them from here? Okay, as you can see, uh, we've got them in the ground, and now what we're going to do with them, we will fertilize our trees. Now, my suggestion to you, if you're not sure about what fertilizer to put on them, get a soil test. I think that right there helps as much as anything in knowing what nutrients you need to add to the soil to help these trees. We do our soil test in January of every year because that's usually a down month for us. And so we go ahead and get that done. There's several places you can get the soils tested. I know I'm in Georgia, so we send ours off through the Georgia Extension Service to the University of Georgia. They test it. I think Clemson may have one. I think I know Tennessee has one. So and then there's also some independent companies that are out there. But generally, you know, it's somewhere around $10 per test, per sample rather, is about the going rate for most of your extension services. But it sort of gives us an idea as to what nutrients the ground needs to have in order for the plant to be able to absorb it. Now, also, you don't want to put more fertilizer on the ground uh, and spend that money when the plant's not going to take it in. So we have to be careful with the pH of the soil and watch the pH with the particular variety that you're growing. For example, I know the Murray cypress, uh, it likes to have somewhere around a 6 or 5.5, 6, maybe even a little bit better pH. Um, Whereas your pines tend to have more acidic soil. They'll grow all right in a 5.0 pH. I mean, it's not a big deal for them, but it would be, the Murray would not be able to absorb quite like the pine would, with the pH being at the levels that of around 5. Now, the pH that some places recommend for Murrays is like 6.5. Well, that's good, but look in your particular area for the recommended pH of the soil. And again, all that's going to do is to allow the plant the ability to absorb the nutrients that you're going to put out in the field. It wouldn't do a bit of good to put, let's say, a lot of nitrogen on the field when your plant's not going to absorb it. So, that's just an idea. Now, I'm not a chemist, I'm not a botanist or anything like that. I'm just telling you from what experience that I've had. Uh, you want to have a soil test to sort of give you a guide as to what nutrients your soil needs to have added so that your tree can grow at its best rate. Um, that's your fertilizer. We put that on. And we also put some lime. That can raise or lower your pH. A lot of other agricultural industry people will say, well, we put lime on in the fall. The way we are situated here, we cannot put lime on the field in the fall because we're doing fall things to get ready for a Christmas season. We don't have the time. So, but if you can do that, that's great. We put our pelletized lime on the ground at the same time we're putting our fertilizer. So it makes one application do the whole thing. That's just us. You may disagree with that. You may have other means of doing it, and that's perfectly okay. Again, the result is what we're after. The result being a healthy Christmas tree growing year to year to year till it's harvested. Okay, let's talk a little bit about trimming. I don't have my trimmers out here. We'll probably catch that in another video so I can actually show you how that we trim. But just to give you an example, let's take this tree right here. This tree right here is about 2.5 years old. Um, I think we planted this spring a couple of years ago, maybe in January, something like that. But anyway, it is to the point now to where that, and I think it's been done once, we're going to take a trimmer and we're going to trim this tree into its more Christmas tree shape. And this is what I was always told this: if the tree is waist high, that's a good time to start trimming. You know, if it's up here, you're probably behind the 8 ball. You're probably having to play catch up with your trimming. But we're going to go ahead and this year, and we'll put the trim on these. And somebody said one time, well, what do you know what to trim? I'm going to tell you exactly what somebody told me. Trim everything off the tree that doesn't look like a Christmas tree. Duh. so so it takes some practice. I guarantee you the first trees you trim will be you'll be slower and you'll be not as confident. But by the time you've done 8 or 10, you'll be ready to go. But I sort of trim the trees just in an angle and try to get this Christmas tree shape. Uh, and That's when they get to be, say, waist high. I'll start that, and then keep that trimming all the way up till they're harvested. And sometimes, especially um, as you get more into the age of the tree, say a 4 or 5 year old tree, you may not have to trim quite as much because that tree has sort of been trained to get that pyramid type shape, triangle shape there, and you're not having to cut as much off. So that's just a real brief synopsis of the trimming, and I promise you we'll try to get trimming, actually a video of me trimming, in one of the next videos. But we trim them from the time they're waist high all the way to the time that they're harvested. So and here's one of the mistake that a lot of farmers make. You can trim too much. Every time you trim a tree, every time you cut a tree, you are inviting, it's like an open wound on that tree. You can invite sickness, a disease, you can invite fungus, you can invite a lot of different bad things. It's just like if you were to cut your finger, you're going to put some type of medicine on it, or and you're going to put a band-aid on it or something to keep germs and all from coming in and attacking that cut, attacking your body at that cut. Well, same way here. You want to do it on I feel like, a day that's somewhat dry. And you know, as far as temperature, I don't think it really matters that much. But you don't want to have that open wound um, vulnerable to things that rains and wetness and things like might bring in, uh, uh, because it is an open cut. And then after it hardens off, which usually takes about a day, something like that, to sort of, you know, harden off, or with a cut finger, quit bleeding, that kind of thing, then um, you're you're going to you're going to be okay. But we'll talk about some of that a little bit later. But that's what's coming in the springtime and the early summer uh, here at our farm is mowing. We've planted the trees, fertilized, lime, and we start to look at trimming. So that's enough for today. I'm telling you, that's a lot of information to digest. And you know, some of you experienced farmers, y'all may have a little bit of different way of doing some things, or you may have a little disagreement in some areas that I've talked about. I'm just talking about what has worked for me here. But you know, feel free to especially if you're a new farmer, to get opinions from a lot of other growers as well. But this video is a good place to start. So with that all said, thank you very much for joining us today. We appreciate it. We'll try to get another video. Hopefully it won't be quite as long of a video and take as long to do. But we appreciate you being here. If you haven't liked us, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, because that helps us bring the content to you. And I do appreciate it. We'll see you next time on Farming Around the Christmas Trees.